Right here on Land Beat today, we're going to be talking about using cattle to improve our farms for wildlife. Now that is a phrase that a lot of guys probably get a little nervous on when we talk.
It was one of the worst ideas I had ever heard. when you said it to me, you said we're going to put cows in here, and I thought, man, I'm 48 years old. I've spent 35 of them trying to get rid of cows. You know, so.
Yeah, and this is and what I'm holding here is exactly why we need to talk about cows. Because if we don't have cows, and in a lot of our grassland areas, they're getting too rank for turkeys, getting too rank for quail, getting too rank for pheasants. And we can use cows to improve the habitat as well as make trades with neighbors and get more access or get payments for the grazing rights. Because the grass that's here, as we've opened up this big meadow, the grass has just exploded.
Right.
And when we walked this January, February, the grass, even though you could see the grass from the previous growing season, like this little blue stem in front of us, it was here, but as we've opened this up and knocked back some of the woody vegetation, this other grass, this big blue stem, has just exploded.
Right.
And now we have all this tall grass, and we look at it and we say, well, that's pretty good cover, but this is going to grow and mature, and then there's going to be new growth next year, and if that happens over 3 years, this is going to be really thick with grass.
Right.
Too thick for the turkeys, so we can help disturb it, increase the amount of insects that are here with the cows and following the cows, improve the amount of brood success, and increase the population just by using cows. Conservation grazing, so we'll probably turn them in June, maybe late May, and they'll be here till July or early August, and then pulled out with ample time for this to recover and still provide cover for other wildlife species that we want, but in the same time help the turkeys move up a couple rungs on that ladder of reproduction. Absolutely. That we're looking for.
And on this specific property, I think, like, if you're trying to learn from what we're doing here, you have to look at your farm, your setup, and how do I apply what we're doing here. But just to pick up on a couple things that Adam just shared, if you, this specific spot, I am going to put cattle from my neighbor who just happens to have 45 acres of wheat that I would like to hunt.
Yeah.
Right? So now he puts cows here, I get to hunt the wheat. That's win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
Number two, in this specific site, is that we have a food plot that we're hunting whitetails on. It's specifically for deer. Now, will there be turkeys in there? Absolutely they will, but we've got good cover right there. I don't want deer here.
Yes.
Because this is my ingress and egress. So if I can improve this, keep the cover low for the upland species, for the turkeys, now hopefully I don't have deer here when I'm going to and coming from my stand.
Exactly.
So I think when you're looking at making this type of improvement, which is, I'll just call it out of the box, we're going to add cows, we're going to remove cover. As whitetail guys, we're always cover, cover, cover. My thought process is always improve every single inch. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Well, that's flawed thinking, because there's certain spots where, quite honestly, we just don't want deer, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a perfect example where we can improve it for turkeys, and it's not going to hurt our deer hunting. It's actually going to help our deer hunting, because there's a difference between, holding, growing, mature bucks and then actually killing them, right? So this should allow for this Banks Blind site to be more predictable as far as our ingress and egress, keep all of the deer over in the thicker cover around that Whitetail Institute extreme plot, and hopefully we got turkeys here.
That's right. So. Yeah. And this is going to be just continuing to be a beautiful meadow. We're going to go out here and look at some of the forbs, or weed seeds, as you call them, that we broadcast out here to try to diversify this meadow even more. But man, this is off to a phenomenal start.
Yeah, so my advice is this, is keep an open mind. When somebody brings you an idea like Adam has, we're going to put cows in here, and then and he just joked about, we're going to broadcast weed seed, right? But when you think about it holistically and how it fits into our end goal and then all of our intermediate goals, you have to be open to trying new things. And I think that now that I've had the time to process it and see some of it coming into action, it makes perfect sense. Let's get rid of the, you know, the grasses we don't want. Let's put the native forb species back in here that give us cover, give us food. Let's put in manure. We got dung beetles. We got all these things that I wasn't thinking about. You know, historically, I just thought about, let's just create the best cover we have to, and then if I want turkeys in here, I'll mow out a spot and they can strut in there.
Which is kind of what was occurring. It was really thick in a lot of areas. You had great cover throughout much of the ranch, but the turkeys were starting to decline. So now we can strategically open up the areas and push the deer to where we want them and have better turkey production out here where we're not necessarily wanting to attract a bunch of deer.
Absolutely, and there's no better example than this. The ranch is separated by the Cimarron River. That side of the river has turkeys and it has cows.
Yeah.
My side of the river does not have cows and does not have turkeys, right? So real simple. And when you're trying to manage something that's this big, you're going to have those cows doing work for you that you don't have to do, right?
That's right.
When you're sleeping, they're going to be walking, they're going to be eating, they're going to be, you know, putting out the cow pies. They're going to be doing all those things that now you can focus on other parts of the ranch. They're actually going to be doing the prep that's necessary to attract those turkeys and upland birds.
Absolutely.